In February 2026, Manuel Neuer made an announcement that German football had been dreading for years. He was retiring from international football, permanently. 124 caps, 51 clean sheets. A World Cup winner's medal from 2014. The man who redefined what a goalkeeper could be. The sweeper keeper, the 11th outfield player, the figure who stood between Germany and chaos in 100 critical moments. He would not be in North America this summer. And Marc-André ter Stegen, Neuer's natural heir, the man who had waited a decade behind him, is injured and unlikely to make the tournament either. Germany will go to the 2026 World Cup with Oliver Baumann in goal, a 35-year-old who has spent his entire career at Hoffenheim, a goalkeeper who Neuer himself publicly endorsed. He is the #1 now, and he is doing his job very well.
Arnold schießt mit links und mit dem Fuß pariert.
That is the backdrop to this squad. The end of one story, the uncertain beginning of another. But here is what makes Germany genuinely dangerous in 2026. Behind the uncertainty in goal, Julian Nagelsmann has assembled a squad that may be the most talented Germany have taken to a World Cup since 2014. A midfield with Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala. An attack with Deniz Undav producing numbers that would embarrass most forwards in Europe. Defenders who have won Champions Leagues and played in quarterfinals at the Bernabeu. The goalkeeper situation is a question mark. Everything else looks like a tournament team. Oliver Baumann is, by almost any measure, an unlikely World Cup starter. 35 years old, entire career at Hoffenheim, never a Champions League participant. In a normal generation, he would be the third-choice goalkeeper at best. But this is not a normal generation. Neuer retired. Ter Stegen is injured. And Baumann has stepped into the role and performed. 38 matches in 2025-2026. A save percentage of 69.9, 11 clean sheets. Functional rather than elite, but consistently functional. The more interesting question is whether Alexander Nübel should be starting ahead of him. Nübel's save percentage in 2025-2026 is 71.3, better than Baumann's. Champions League experience from Stuttgart's remarkable 2024-2025 campaign. Europa League experience this season. The data makes a case. Nagelsmann stays with Baumann for now. Experience, consistency, the established hierarchy. But the debate is real, and it will not go away. Jonas Erbig, 22, received his first senior call-up in March and represents the future of German goalkeeping. Finn Dahmen provides emergency cover. The goalkeeping situation is the weakest part of this squad by Germany's own historical standards. Everything else compensates for it. Germany's defensive unit for 2026 is the most complete and experienced they have assembled in years. The captain anchors it. The center-backs are Champions League regulars. The full-backs are among the most productive in Europe. Start with Joshua Kimmich, because everything starts with Kimmich.
And Kimmich!
He is the captain, the leader, and in Nagelsmann's system, a right-back, which tells you something about the nature of this Germany side. Kimmich is fundamentally a central midfielder, the best defensive midfielder in German football, a distributor of extraordinary quality. But Nagelsmann asks him to play wide right, and Kimmich adapts without complaint. 9 goals and 29 combined assists across 2 seasons. 379 crosses in a single campaign. He is not a conventional right-back. He is something more dangerous. A midfielder wearing a right-back's shirt. Jonathan Tah is the organizer of the back line. He made the most significant transfer of German football last summer.
Oh, room! Goal!
From Leverkusen, where he won the Bundesliga, to Bayern Munich, where he immediately became a first-choice center-back. 50 matches in 2025-2026, 4 goals, Champions League quarterfinals against Real Madrid. Tah is the defensive leader, the communicator, the player who organizes what happens around him. Nico Schlotterbeck is the other half of Germany's central defensive partnership, and perhaps the most underrated player in this entire squad. 6 goals and 6 combined assists across 2 seasons from a center-back. 43 tackles, 34 interceptions in 2025-2026. He does the dirty work so that Tah can organize. At 25, he is entering his peak years. Antonio Rüdiger is the veteran. 33 years old, Real Madrid, one of the most experienced defenders in international football. His minutes reduced in 2025-2026, possibly tactical preservation ahead of a tournament. Rüdiger brings something statistics cannot capture. The mentality of a player who has won the Champions League, who has played in World Cups, who fears nothing. In big knockout moments, that is worth more than any number. Malik Thiaw is one of the most compelling stories in this squad. He left AC Milan for Newcastle United last summer, and the move transformed him. 5 goals in 2025-2026 from center-back, 50 matches, Champions League experience. The transfer did what the best transfers do. It found the environment in which a player could finally become themselves. On the left, David Raum is one of Europe's most prolific attacking fullbacks. 10 assists in 2025-2026 from left-back. 16 combined goal contributions across 2 seasons. 324 crosses in a single campaign. Raum does not play like a fullback. He plays like a winger who occasionally tracks back, and in Nagelsmann's system, that is precisely what he is required to do. Alongside him in the squad, Nathaniel Brown at Eintracht Frankfurt is the exciting emerging option. 4 goals, 6 assists, and 71 interceptions in 2025-2026, a player whose first senior caps this season suggest a long international career ahead. Waldemar Anton provides flexible defensive cover across multiple positions, while Joshua Wagnermann is the third right-back option should Kimmich need relief. If Germany's goalkeeping is the question mark of this squad, the midfield is the answer to every question anyone could ask. Start with Florian Wirtz, because you have to start with Wirtz. In 2024-2025 at Leverkusen, 21 goals and 17 assists in 54 matches. Those numbers triggered one of the largest transfer fees in football history. Wirtz moved to Liverpool, and the Premier League waited to see if the Bundesliga's best player could translate his genius to a harder league. The answer in 2025-2026 is yes. 9 goals and 12 assists in 52 appearances. Wirtz is 22 years old. He is the player around whom Nagelsmann builds Germany's entire attacking system. If Germany win this World Cup, he will be its defining figure. And then there is Jamal Musiala, who missed most of 2025-2026 through injury, but whose shadow hangs over this squad regardless. In 2024-2025, 24 goals and 8 assists in 50 matches with 117 interceptions. A number that makes no sense for an attacking midfielder until you watch him press. He is, when fit, arguably Germany's best player. Nagelsmann expects him back for the tournament. If he arrives fit, the Wirtz-Musiala combination becomes one of the most frightening attacking partnerships at the entire World Cup. Aleksandar Pavlovic is the midfield revelation of the past 12 months. At 20, he has grown from a rotation option at Bayern to a genuine first-choice starter. 3,036 minutes in 2025-2026, 4 goals, 42 tackles, Champions League quarterfinals. He is the defensive anchor on which Wirtz and Musiala are built. The fact that he is 20 years old and already here at this level is extraordinary. Leon Goretzka brings the experience alongside Pavlovic. 30 years old, a decade in German football's elite, 7 goals in 2024-2025. His minutes have reduced as Pavlovic has grown, but Nagelsmann has been clear. Goretzka has an important role in tournament football. He brings what younger players cannot yet, the knowledge of what knockout pressure feels like. Felix Neche completes the core midfield options. 8 goals in 2024-2025, 5 in 2025-2026, 47 combined interceptions, the most complete two-way midfielder in this squad. Pascal Gross and Anton Stach provide experienced, intelligent depth in a group where every position has genuine competition. Germany's attacking options present Nagelsmann with a problem that coaches dream about. Too many good players, not enough positions. The central striking question is genuinely unresolved. Deniz Undav at Stuttgart has had one of the great individual seasons of any German striker in recent memory. 24 goals and 14 assists in 2025-2026, 40 combined goals and assists across 2 seasons. He is 29 years old, entering the absolute peak of his career. Nagelsmann said it directly, "You can't leave a striker like him at home." He won't. Nick Woltemade is the physical alternative. 17 goals at Stuttgart in 2024-2025, 15 at Newcastle in 2025-2026, 32 goals across 2 seasons. His tackles and interceptions in 2025-2026 are numbers that belong to a midfielder, not a striker. He is the modern number 9, a player who hunts, who presses, who makes life difficult for center backs long before the ball arrives. For a tournament where knockout football gets physical, Ultimate is a weapon. And then there is Kai Havertz, the question mark. In 2024-2025 at Arsenal, 17 goals, one of the Premier League's most dangerous number 9s. Then a serious injury cost him most of 2025-2026, just 821 minutes across 20 matches. He returned for the March friendlies. He is racing the clock. If he arrives fit, Nagelsmann has 3 world-class striking options. If he doesn't, Undav and Ultimate remain a very good answer. In behind the striker, Serge Gnabry has had the best season of his career. 14 goals and 14 assists at Bayern Munich in 2025-2026, numbers he has never previously matched, in a season where many had written him off. He is 30 years old and impossible to leave out. Lennart Karl is 18 years old, and he may be this tournament's breakout star. 9 goals in the senior squad in 2025-2026, debut call-up in March. A teenager playing in Champions League quarterfinals. He goes to the World Cup as a wildcard. He could leave it as a revelation. Leroy Sané at Galatasaray brings pace, directness, and a decade of international experience. 9 goals and 10 assists in 2025-2026, though the Galatasaray context carries a caveat after their 4-0 elimination by Liverpool in the Champions League. Nagelsmann has kept faith. On the right day, at a tournament, Sané remains capable of destroying any defense in the world. Jamie Lewelling, 11 goals and 10 assists this season, and Kevin Schade complete an attacking group where even the depth options arrive with genuine recent form. Germany have won the World Cup 4 times: 1954, 1974, 1990, 2014. No nation in world football carries the weight of the tournament more naturally. The expectation is not hope, it is baseline assumption. But since 2014, the weight has been too much. Knocked out in the group stage in 2018. Knocked out in the group stage again in 2022. 2 humiliations at the sport's biggest stage. A nation that invented the idea of tournament football, eliminated before the knockout rounds. 2026 is different. Not because the history has been rewritten, it hasn't, but because the squad has been rebuilt. Florian Wirtz is 22 years old. Jamal Musiala, if fit, is 23. Jonathan Tah, Nico Schlotterbeck, and Alexander Pavlovic are all under 26. This is not the end of a generation. This is the beginning of one, and the 2026 World Cup may be its opening statement. The questions are real. The goalkeeper debate is real. Musiala's fitness is real. Germany do not arrive in North America as the most polished squad in the tournament. Spain, France, and Brazil all have arguments in their favor. But Germany arrive as a squad with something more important than polish. A generation of players who are good enough, young enough, and hungry enough to carry the weight of that history. And finally do something with it. The shadow of 2018 and 2022 hangs over this squad. But Wirtz has never known those tournaments as a player. Musiala was 17 in Qatar. Pavlovic missed the Euros through illness and had to watch. Lennart Karl was 15 years old. For this generation, the weight of history is not a burden. It is a motivation. Germany are back.